Hey, I'm Sam.
And I'm Greg.
And today we're reviewing Man of Tai Chi.
How would you like to test how good you are, Tiger? Or could become? Pure fighting.
What if I lose?
此一决定将让你走向截然不同的人生之路。
Man of Tai Chi is a martial arts movie, as you might guess. It was the directorial debut of Keanu Reeves. Now, it's his first feature film directing. It's also his first anything. He doesn't even have any short films or commercials or anything like a lot of people do. And he hasn't done anything since either. And this came out in 2013, so it's been 7 years since that. So it's his only thing.
Nothing in the works.
So he did this a year before John Wick 1. That's interesting.
John Wick 1 got released. That means it was being filmed the year that this got released. No?
True. He was at least in training for John Wick while making this, which is intense because he trains very hard. Have you seen the BTS videos from training for John Wick?
It's 3 months
it's
with
grueling.
him doing the...
months of, not just the gun stuff, but doing judo, everyday judo at
no, I haven't seen
in
that.
the morning. And you could tell obviously from John Wick and from this, and even going back to, I think The Matrix is what started it, that he has a real love for martial arts. And I think you can see that in not just his commitment to performing the martial arts himself, but also in this film as a director. You can feel a love for kung fu movies, I think, in the way he cuts together.
It looks like he was really trying to match that style.
Yeah. So the Man of Tai Chi stars Tiger Chen as Tiger Chen.
And this is the first movie I've seen with Tiger Chen, and apparently he's legendario.
No, he's not legendary. Where'd you get that?
I thought you said he's amazing. You said the
is
protagonist
amazing.
of this is incredible.
Yeah,
you just meant in front of this movie?
后脑勺。
But to set up the story, Tiger Chen is the star of this. He plays a Tai Chi student. So he has a Shifu who instructs him in Tai Chi. And he's not his father, but he's clearly a father figure to him. He's very important to him.
Yeah.
He has this temple area that's very ancient. It's being foreclosed, so he needs to raise money. He tries to raise money by joining this fight club, which is run by Keanu Reeves, who directed the movie and is in it. He's playing the bad guy of the movie, which I think is a good choice because, as you will know if you've watched our other kung fu movies that Greg and I have reviewed, we've talked a lot about how in kung fu movies the bad guy is always a white dude. It's always an American guy or a British guy. Usually the only American or British guy guy in the movie, and they're always an awful actor.
Yeah.
In this one, Keanu Reeves could have been I'm an American, and I want to make a kung fu movie, so I'm going to make everyone speak English, and I'm going to cast English actors.
Right.
But you can tell he respects martial arts as an art form. It's shot in China. It's shot with an entirely Chinese cast for the most part. I mean, obviously he's in it. There are some other non-Chinese actors, like Iko Uwais from The Raid. He's Indonesian. He's in this. Keanu Reeves could have forced himself into another role and made himself a good guy or whatever, like Brad Pitt does when he's producing a movie.
Yeah.
But instead, Keanu Reeves is oh yeah, the bad guy's always an American. I'm an American. I'm directing all these Chinese actors. Oh, I guess I'm the bad guy.
Yeah, he probably thought it would be fun too. Yeah. He
The
definitely wanted to fight.
Right.
It seemed like.
When he made The Matrix, right? They did really intense martial arts training for The Matrix. The entire cast of him and Lawrence Fishburne and Carrie-Anne Moss, whatever. They all did a lot of martial arts training, and I think it just really resonated with him, and he kept doing it after that movie. And he just this kind of love of martial arts developed in him, and now he gets to showcase that all the time in the John Wick movies and stuff.
I respect that too a lot. That he's that he has a high respect for kung fu movies.
Yeah.
Anytime I meet people that have a high respect for kung fu movies, now that I have been introduced, it's cool. You got to know the real kung fu movies. So it's I respect that he's trying to match that style.
Yeah, I really like that he didn't Americanize it. That was definitely a possibility. And I wonder if that played into the success of it, because this movie was a little bit of a sleeper. I don't think it. I never see it brought up. I never see it talked about in kung fu circles. When people are talking about the best action movies in recent years, or whatever. Man of Tai Chi never comes up.
Well, I don't think I would.
Yeah, this is one that we disagree on. We agree often in these reviews, but I definitely like this movie more than Greg. I could tell just from as we were watching it together, as I was rewatching it, and he was watching it for the first time.
Well, maybe because there was one point where I just went, "Well, this sucks."
Yeah.
Man, I wonder where you got that idea.
Yeah. I'm gonna say up front, I think it's an underrated gem, a little hidden jewel. It's not amazing. It says in the back of the case here, the best martial arts movie since The Raid, which sounds big and impressive, right? But then you realize that The Raid was like a year before this came out. So they're going, oh, the best martial arts movie
They're just the next
year.
one. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's the next martial arts movie that came out. It's the best one since the previous one. I haven't reviewed Man of Tai Chi before, but I have talked about it on this channel a lot. If you go back to older videos, like when I did my best movies of 2013 list, this was on the list for the indie action category and stuff. It was on the hidden gem category, I think. I talked about Tiger Chen in my video of the top 20 modern martial arts stars. I put Tiger Chen in there. Because of this movie.
I was so excited to watch this movie because I like Keanu Reeves a lot, and he's kind of growing within me as an actor.
I love Keanu Reeves. I love the guy. He gets a lot of shit. People call him a bad actor all the time.
Well, this one kind of...
See, I
this
don't
one
think
hurt
so.
him for me, I'll be honest.
Yeah?
John Wick, I got...
So let's discuss his performance, because you seem to not like his performance in this.
I was like, the whole movie, I was like, yeah, but wait, just wait. Yeah, but just wait. My brain the whole time was like, but wait till he fights. Like, that's what I was waiting for, was like him fighting, and I don't know, it just kind of undersold for me. Like, it just wasn't...
the big fight didn't deliver for you?
Yeah, no. I mean, I thought there were pieces of it that were really cool. Like, I liked how big he looked or whatever, and I liked the way he fought. Like, the way that it was cut together, that it... I don't know, like, the feel of him as a fighter in this movie, like, his character. I thought that was kind of cool, like, very lanky, but, like, solid hits and, like, solid moves.
His fighting style is very different in this versus the John Wick.
It's kind of fun.
Like, he's not
cool.
Like, John Wick's all about judo, right? But in this, he's not doing judo in this one.
Right.
know? I think he's playing up the American bad guy stereotype that's in all these kung fu movies, where when the American guy fights, it's all about just, like, really heavy hits without worrying about, like, being graceful and being stylish and stuff like that. I think he was leading into that trope.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that seems kind of true.
So his character, he's a guy who he runs this fight club, and the whole idea is they're like super elite. They cater to very like rich audience members. It's like pay-per-view fighting, and the whole thing is like they fight to the death. Someone's gonna die in it, so it's kind of like snuff film. But it's a snuff film with a big like kung fu fight leading up to the snuff part of it.
But there's also like a whole nother layer that is very Truman Show-esque and very like almost like a Black Mirror episode near the end there, where it's just very like there's cameras everywhere and they've been following him like for this amount of time or whatever, and they've been making everything happen, and it had 3 words that just kept cycling, like
they were like flashing the word like greed, power, like stuff like that.
Yeah, power.
And it was kind of like I didn't really get the purpose of that. Seemed a little muddled because it was
that's where it lost me. Just that's what I meant by like Truman Showy stuff, where it's like, whoa, what are they trying to say here? Because the rest of the movie, since the beginning, I was like, oh, this is cool. I get it. They're following him. That's cool. Totally fine with that, because we've all seen those kind of movies or media that is like there's something underground being filmed or whatever. Like there's people are audiences watching somewhere else. But once that scene hit, which was like the end of the movie, that's kind of where it lost me.
That was too much for you.
Yeah, it was definitely that was too much for me. I just thought they built it up and then ruined what they built.
Let's talk about the fights a little bit.
Oh, yeah, those I like.
The fights are pretty great in this. Like I've put clips from the end fight, from the first fight of this, in a couple of videos. Like I mentioned, someone's talking about this guy. I think Tiger Chen or Tiger Chen is how I think he's credited. I don't know why he's credited as himself in this. The actor's name is Tiger Chen. In the movie, he introduces himself and he goes, "Hi, my name's Tiger." And I go, okay, they're doing like the Jackie Chan thing where his characters are often named Jackie, or at least in the U.S. dub or whatever. Or he used to play characters named Dragon all the time. So I was like, okay, they're doing that thing where like they're just calling him Tiger. And maybe he'll be called Tiger in other movies or something too, you know. But then they say his last name is also Tiger Chen. It's just straight up him. He's just like playing himself in this movie.
Right.
Let's talk about the very first fight scene. Well, I guess the first full fight scene, because there are like little, you know, like you see him training with his Sifu guy.
Yeah.
See him training with the Tai Chi, and it's the whole dynamic is that his master is it's all about like honor, and Tai Chi isn't used for, you know, like aggression. It's used for like tranquility, that kind of thing. Which in real life, Tai Chi isn't used as a fighting style very often, at least not anymore. But it's become more like a meditation kind of thing, or just like a general exercise thing. Like a lot of like old people do Tai Chi.
Yeah, you were saying like it's mainly for like old men to just like get up and go.
Old men and old women, yeah.
And to like, you know.
This movie shows Tai Chi as a fighting style, but you can see Tai Chi as like exercise by people in like New York, especially, I think, in more movies than you can see people like actually fighting with Tai Chi. Like if you watch the Flight of the Conchords TV show, There's like old Chinese ladies doing Tai Chi in the opening credits of that show. And they're like in the background of the scene. If you watch The Farewell, that Lulu Wang movie that was came out like last year or the year before, her grandmother does Tai Chi in that, and then they do Tai Chi together in like a scene in that. It's like a thing.
Old people taking
it's
up
big
fight moves.
Well, it's more just about like it's very slow movement, so old people can do it with brittle bones.
Yeah.
Just like that. Like if an old person tries boxing, they're gonna like dislocate their shoulder or whatever. But an old person can do moves like this. You know? Yeah.
Channel your energies and stuff. Yeah,
and they go to great lengths within the movie to say it's not really Tai Chi, because it's like Tai Chi, it's kind of like, they say, like, he fights in a tournament for the first time, like an actual tournament, not the, like, Fight Club tournament. Mm-hmm. He fights in a legit tournament, and he, kicks the other guy's ass, and they go, wow, what fighting style was that? And he goes, they go, that wasn't Tai Chi, was it? But he tries to pass it off as, like, actual Tai Chi, but the movie acknowledges that Tai Chi isn't, like, meant for fighting. Because it's not really. But don't let that make you think. Don't let that make you think that the fighting in this movie isn't fucking badass, because it is. It's really good fighting. Like, you jump into it.
First fight's really good.
The first fight scene, I think it might be the best fight in the movie. I think it does kind of peak with that first fight for me. It's very long.
The one with the really thick guy, that's a good fight too.
Yeah, well, yeah. They're all the fights are good, I would say. You didn't like the ending fight, I guess.
No.
Yeah. I would say all the fights are good. I actually, there's one fight that disappoints me, and that's the one that has Iko Uwais from the Raid movies.
Oh yeah, that one where he's just defending himself the entire time.
I'm a huge fan of the Raid movies. I love Iko Uwais. I knew he was in this movie beforehand, so I was like waiting for him to show up. I knew it was like a small role, and it was only a little bit after the first Raid, so he wasn't like as big a star. He hadn't done the Raid 2 yet. The Raid 2 came out like just after this. So I was really hyped for this fight. I was like, thinking it's going to be great. And then it happens to be the one fight where Tiger Chen goes, I'm not going to fight anymore. So he spends the entire fight running away from Iko Uwais, and they don't fight at all.
Like really running away. Like very, very literally. Like they're
running away from
chasing each other in circles.
Yeah.
Like a semicircle at one point back and forth. I was like...
Yeah, it was pretty lame. And Iko doesn't have any he doesn't have any lines either. He doesn't have any dramatic heft. His character doesn't have a name. He's just a guy in a fighting ring, And he doesn't get to do any cool fighting because he throws some cool kicks, but they're just like at the air because.
So I want to say something about that fight specifically, even though we'll go back to the first and second fight, but that fight specifically. Thank you. That fight specifically.
Say especially. Hold on. Say in particular.
That fight specifically.
Nailed it.
I thought that it was going to be like, oh, now we're going to see him like start to kind of follow his master's guidance and stuff like that. Kind of all his advice. And I was like, oh, we're going to start seeing that switch where it's like, oh, he has to use all these moves to like, he has to channel his chi and redirect it all. I was like, that's really cool. But it didn't. It turned to them chasing each other, and I was like,
it started off with what you're saying, like the very first couple of hits that Iko was throwing. It started off with that. It did. Just defending himself, redirecting the energy.
So I was like, oh, this could be cool.
Right,
this actually is going to get kind of cool.
And then it turned into like Ring Around the Rosie.
And it wasn't that. And then on top of that, I was like, okay, that didn't happen. So they're going to fight Keanu together. And I was like, this is going to be cool. But
that doesn't happen.
That doesn't happen either.
Then Keanu comes out of the mask. And I think it's supposed to be like a surprise that it's him with the mask, but it's so
obvious. It was
obvious.
so obvious. Yeah. It's supposed to be like, oh, who's that?
Yeah.
And then he leaves.
Yeah.
And
because the police are coming. He swims?
Yeah.
What?
I don't know.
He swam?
Oh, yeah. He was like swimming away.
What?
There was. Oh yeah,
I missed that. He was swimming away. That is fucking. It's so goofy.
The ocean, dude.
I fucking missed that.
Dude, it was like the most random, literally just a tight of him swimming, and then another cut of him swimming again to show that he's like going away. And then it fades out, and I was like, that's the end of the movie right there. What a perfect way to end this
Swims away
weird
out
movie.
Of custody. Yeah, I missed that one completely.
Yeah.
He swam from China back to America.
Yeah, and then what was supposed to happen, they never resolved anything that happened to like his like number one henchman guy, his second in command. Or would it be his first
You mean the guy who was like recording? The guy who was speaking English?
No, that was like the bullshit guy. That was like his third in command.
I didn't like that guy, by the way.
No, he was like a gross vlogger.
Well, he was a bad actor. He was the worst actor in the movie. He was the one guy other than Keanu who spoke English, and usually it's easier to direct someone in your own language. Okay, Keanu might have a hard time directing some of the performances for people speaking Chinese, because I don't think he speaks Chinese, at least not fluently. Maybe he speaks a little bit.
Right.
But the one guy speaking English, other than Keanu, is the worst actor in the movie. Yeah, he's really bad. He was like every line out of his mouth is bad. He always calls Tiger Chen, which was really weird. I just wanted to point out that on the poster, it's one of the only posters I've ever seen where it has written by on the poster.
Oh.
You never see that, especially when it's not a famous writer. This guy's not a famous writer. I looked him up. It's like his only feature.
Do you think that was a Keanu move?
I think it was Keanu
like,
being
important.
Like the amazingly nice guy that everyone knows Keanu is, and being like, this guy wrote the movie. He should be on the poster.
That's really cool.
What? You think this is a delivery job? You think you can just quit?
You think you can quit? And then he goes, and then it cuts to off screen and goes, ha 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 ha!
It wasn't that bad.
Yes, it was.
It was off screen.
No,
though.
it was so bad.
I did take note of it being off screen. I did take note of it being off screen.
That
like
was better.
I think it was like 80 yard or something. I think like he laughed one way on set and then he like went into an audience booth. Yeah, I think he was like laughing in an audience booth later on.
Awful.
It was
If it was intentionally
I didn't
put in
think
there,
it was that
that's
bad.
great.
I didn't think it was that bad. I thought it was a little creepy actually. Like his laughter was so like
it is. It's
mechanical.
unsettling.
Yeah, and I thought that was the point because he's the bad guy. He's trying to be creepy.
Oh.
It was supposed to be like a creepy laugh. I thought it worked.
I didn't buy into his character at all. Not the whole movie.
His character's very thin.
I was looking forward to it.
There's
like,
not
I
a
was,
lot
like,
to. Yeah, his character needs more layers. There's not
as
a
a
lot
boss,
to the character.
Okay, so here I want to lay it out. This is so as a boss in a kung fu movie when you're an American, right? Like I get it. You know, you can be cheesy and they have that with some of the kung fu movies is that the American is cheesy, but him coming into this film and us knowing like, oh, it's Keanu Reeves from The Matrix and John Wick, you know? So we have this idea of who Keanu is in America, and so when we watch this movie, it's like it's got to be like a step above, in my opinion. I was like, okay, you really got to sell yourself. You really got to like earn it. I really wanted him to earn being in that movie as a boss, you know? And it's just like, I just didn't buy it. I really wanted him to be an intensely scary boss. Like I wanted to be like, whoa, he's fucking powerful as a boss, but he just wasn't a boss to me. He just didn't seem like, you know, like Ip Man 2.
The Twister guy.
The guy's nuts and terrible, but I was scared of him.
Yeah, he was a better character. Yeah,
and
it's a better character with less screen time. I'll give you that. Yeah, the Twister guy.
Yeah.
There's not much to most like kung fu villains, you know, so that's like fine. I like the ending fight. The ending fight works for me. I do think it could benefit from being a lot longer, and it could maybe benefit from like an earlier fight where we see Keanu's character like do a little action somewhere else, so that we see his potential, you know.
If you don't mind, let's move to fight 1. What did you think about the first fight?
The first fight I think is fucking great. I love the first fight. I think it's the best fight of the movie. Which you could call that peaking early. Yeah, it is. It also does.
I thought the other fight was good too. The one with the really thick guy. I thought that was really cool in its own way.
I think all the fights are very good.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I think the first one is the best. It's very long and it's very interesting. It has really great choreography. It's got so many good moments throughout it. Like that crazy spin thing when he, you know, like grabs the air with his legs and flips over and lands.
Oh, yeah.
You said that was the coolest movie you had ever seen.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say all the fights in that room are the best. You know, there's like 3 or 4 fights that are in this like, you know, it's like a rectangular room with a carpet and a mirror and some walls, and that's it. And you know, you might not think of it if you're just like watch action movies, but it's really hard to choreograph. It's not really hard. It's harder to choreograph an engaging, lengthy fight scene when you just have a flat area. Like if you watch a Jackie Chan movie, he's usually not fighting in a square. He's usually fighting in a place where he can go over railings or down a corridor or
Yeah,
use
with
props and all
play
that.
with
There's no
environment.
props in this fight. I mean, they use like the guy's tie, they use clothing and stuff.
Yeah, they break through the wall, they break through the mirror.
Well, at the very end, that's like the button that ends the fight scene, you know. But throughout the whole fight, it's just technical fighting. They use the walls and stuff like that, but it's very like technical. You know, brutal. Like there's such a good flow in that room, and I want to mention now that the action direction in this was done by Yuen Woo-ping, the master Yuen Woo-ping. He's a legend. He's done action direction for a lot of the movies we've talked about already.
Oh, really?
Like he did Ip Man 3. He was the action director for Ip Man 3. Not for the first two. The first two were Sammo Kembo Hung, but he did the third one. He did The Matrix. That's how he and Keanu met. Yuen Woo-ping was the action director for The Matrix, and Keanu was like, kept touch with him. That's where he met that guy. It's also where he met Tiger Chen. Tiger Chen was a stunt double on The Matrix.
Oh, that's cool. Well, I really want to see more stuff of Tiger Chen.
So Tiger Chen's first big starring role is Man of Tai Chi. He's done some things since then, like he was in Triple
I think
Threat.
is actually a pretty good first starting role.
Oh, he's so
I think
fucking
he could get
cool
some good
in this.
kung fu
He's
movies.
great. I think he's good enough in the dramatic scenes. And again, his character's pretty thin. He doesn't have too many like emotional scenes.
Yeah.
But he sells the character's arc of going from this guy with a lot of honor, and it's a classic kung fu arc. He starts off your protagonist is a guy who's very honorable. You know, he's like a good person who takes life seriously, but he has big ambitions, and he's put into a situation where he has to like kind of sacrifice his morals a little bit. Throughout the course of the movie, as he gets more like deeper and deeper into this fight club, he gets pushed away from his master. He gets more violent with his fighting, and you see that in the choreography and in his performance during the fights and outside of the fights. Like this is a very simple thing, but like as he gets darker, as he gets more corrupted, he starts wearing all black clothing, whereas he started the movie wearing all white clothing, and then once he has his turning point into the third act, he stops wearing all black and he starts
really
wearing
cool.
like
I
lighter
didn't notice
clothing
that.
again. It's very simple, and it's something that happens in like a ton of movies, but it's well done, and it's a nice way to like kind of track the theme and track the character arc throughout the course of the movie.
That's great.
I think Tiger Chen does a great job on this. I think he's so badass in the fight scenes. Like he's got a really good mix of like the angry ferocity of a fight with that really stylish, like flowing style of martial arts. He mixes
like a
those
dance.
two very well. If you are someone who needs your fight scenes to be like completely grounded and like realistic, this movie is probably going to rub you the wrong way. It's definitely a blend of grounded, realistic fighting with a fair amount of wire work. And some of the physics are a little floaty. Not to an extreme. Like Yuen Woo-ping sometimes goes really extreme with the wire work. He works in like wuxia films sometimes. Like in Crouched Tiger, Hidden Dragon, that's like the height of like people jumping 30 feet in the air and flying through treetops, stuff like that. It's not that in this. It's definitely way more grounded in this. But there are some floaty physics where like someone will flip through the air and you can tell they move a little slower than they would naturally, or they twist in a way that's not quite natural, I really liked the blend of the wire work kind of floaty physics and the grounded fighting. For the most part, there were a couple moments where the physics were just a little bit too off. Which I've noticed in other Yuen Woo-ping films, where like sometimes it depends how far the wire work goes. Like in a film like Ip Man 3, I think the blending is like perfect of like the wire work physics with the grounded physics. Actually, in all the Ip Man movies have that. I think it's a really good blending. In Master Z, Ip Man Legacy, the spin-off, he goes further. It's still Yuen Woo-ping, and he directed and action directed that one, so he had like even more control. He went even further with the floaty physics, and it went a little too far in Master Z. In this one, I don't think it goes too far. I think it's like a really good blend.
But in some of the other fights, the one with Keanu Reeves specifically, there was a lot.
There's one moment in particular with the wire that looks really bad.
There's one moment.
There's two really like big wire moments in the fight with Keanu Reeves. One of them is fucking cool. The other one is not very good.
And with the master, I can see all the cable. It feels very.
Well, I would say every fight has this stuff. It's not like a thing they're trying to hide. It's not like a problem that you can see it.
But I couldn't really tell. Like I didn't even know there was wire work in Ip Man.
Oh yeah,
some of that stuff was so.
There's a lot of it. Yeah,
really believable.
Right.
So it's cool.
It's not like it's not wuxia where people are like jumping super high. It's not that. It's not that exaggerated. It's just like to enhance moments. It's grounded wire work, and that's what I would say this is too. There are a couple. So like in the Keanu Reeves fight, right? The moment where he punches him into the air, grabs his foot and yanks him back down, that's fucking badass.
Yeah.
I like that moment a whole lot. But then the moment where Keanu Reeves picks Tiger Chen up and he kicks him with the wire, takes him
and
that
he like flies way back.
Yeah, that didn't look good.
But, like floats.
Yeah. And the reason why that didn't look great is, one, the speed was a little off, but the other thing is, it's the same reason why some of the other earlier Wire moments feel a little bit off, and it's because sometimes the direction someone was hit didn't exactly match the direction of the wire that was like yanking them.
Yeah.
So like when Keanu Reeves kicks him like he like picks Tiger up by like his ankles and he's holding him flat, and he kicks him like by like up here on his back in a way that should have made him fall. So like if this is Tiger's feet, he should have gone like this when he fell.
No,
but instead he went straight back. It just
was so weird.
It's a little bit too far in that like separation of reality on, oh, this isn't what physics do. You know, it's just a little bit. And wires in general, like you are exaggerating what reality is.
Of course.
But there are a couple ones like that one where he just goes straight back where it's like,
well, it's very obvious. You want to make it as close
much
to physically possible as you can, like times.
So let's talk about Keanu Reeves' direction.
Bad piece of it. Yeah, I was excited about the direction. I thought the first half of the movie was excellent from Keanu Reeves as a director. Yeah. I thought like we talked about the Dutch angles. That was cool. Like the cinematography was really cool.
Yeah, the shots are very well fight.
Ooh, that one shot that was shot from way far away. But zoomed in.
There was some great like. That's another thing where you can tell like he really loves all these kung fu movies because he's doing like the kung fu zooms, you know? Yeah. They're called whip zooms, but I always call them kung fu zooms because they're always in kung fu movies. Keanu Reeves is doing them here. And that's not like a modern filmmaking style. That's an old kung fu style. He's doing that because they're in old kung fu movies, you know?
Right.
He's got some of those. He doesn't like overuse them. He uses them about the same amount that like Tarantino used in Kill Bill.
They had some really cool stylistic choices like that in the cinematography. I thought some of the lighting was cool, but there were quite a bit of times where like they used CG that was really obvious.
Yeah, there was some not as obvious CG, but there were some bad ones. Like the bad CG, the helicopter was goofy. It was just one shot. They could have just not used that one shot because they shot in a real helicopter for other parts of it.
Yeah, they went from under the helicopter to, you know...
The camera like rose up in front of the helicopter.
Yeah,
and it's just
so
like
you could
Keanu
see them
Reeves
in the helicopter. It was
little,
like perfectly lit, and it was just
It's Tiger Chen and Keanu Reeves. They're like sitting in a little helicopter, like a little CG helicopter. It looks really goofy. They could just not use that one shot. You know?
Yeah,
and there's
it didn't add anything.
There's another shot that's like a shot out of like Panic Room or something, or Fight Club, like a David Fincher kind of shot where it's like, it was crazy. It started off, it was nighttime, and time lapsed overnight.
Oh my gosh!
You didn't even believe it was a time lapse. You were like, "What is happening?"
No,
here?
I was like, "This is no way real."
At first it was fake. It was like a fake time lapse.
They may have meshed it together.
Maybe I think it started off. It was a real shot at points and then a fake shot at other points. But it was like it was like nighttime, and it was like
can you just walk through this shot?
Yeah, so it was like nighttime. A scene ended, right? It was like kind of pull back to the wide shot, right? Then it like pans up at the sky. Time lapses like the stars move
in
whatever.
The sky,
right? The clouds
hands up,
by.
and it's lapsing as it pans up, right?
Yeah, and then we go to and then the sunrise as we time lapse through the whole day in the same shot, and now we're in like a city.
No, and then it's pulled back like a drone.
It pulls back like over the city, and it's I would say it was clearly CG. It was a fake city. The camera's like pulling back over these like fake buildings. It didn't look terrible.
No,
but it was so.
It was jarring.
The shot,
it was very jarring. It was very like look at us.
Draws it. Like the CG was good enough of the buildings to the point where you could have believed it, but the shot calls attention to it being CG because the shot is like flying back like miles, right? Yeah. And the shot is like going through. It goes through a window.
It goes through a window and a wall.
Goes through a window, goes through a wall. That's like the David Fincher kind of thing. Like he would do that going between like the rungs of a chair or something like that. That's what like David Fincher would do.
Yeah, it's cool.
So and I think
but
that
like
was just,
why? It was just kind of like clearly you said it at one point. You were like, he's just having fun. It's his first directed role. You know?
I think that's what it was. I think Keanu was just having a good time. I think he was like, this is my chance to direct. So I'm gonna put in this thing I like. I'm gonna put in that thing I like. I'm gonna put in this thing I like. He's like, I like those shots of David Fincher's movies. I'm gonna put that in. I like crazy transition, so I would put this in. I think he just put in everything he liked, which is like admirable. And it's like, why not? When you've made it, when you're that successful, fuck yeah, make a movie where you get to have fun and homage everything you like and have badass fights in it.
Weirdo transitions and stuff.
The transitions are crazy, by the way, like all of them. I want to see him do more movies as a director, Keanu Reeves. Like I would love to see him do another martial arts movie or just another like action movie or something.
I'd definitely see another movie Keanu Reeves directs.
I will say I think he's a better actor when he has someone else directing him. You know, like a director can bring good performances out of somebody. I do think his performance could be stronger if he had like a guiding hand for his performance specifically. Other issues, the love interest side plot is woefully underdeveloped. There's like nothing to it. There's one scene when they meet, and then at the end they're like,
they tried to tie it together and do this weird shot of like them sitting at the mountaintops, and she's like,
it doesn't work. She's not a character. It feels very much like that kind of gross trope where it's like the good guy won and that's his prize. Yeah, it's like very objectifying when you think about it. It's like his prize for beating the bad guy is this woman who is like not a character in the movie. She's just there in the bank, you know? Yeah. It's not good.
You just made me think of another bad thing about the movie is the cop trope. On top of the whole cop trope of like her turning around and going against the grain or whatever, against her boss. I didn't really like the cop involvement in the story.
Yeah, that was underdeveloped too, I would say.
Yeah.
It feels kind of...
There was quite a lot of scenes there, though.
Yeah, it feels kind of disparate from the main thrust of the plot.
And it's just like, we didn't spend enough time really emotionally on those characters and in those scenes. Her stuff a little bit more, like the main protagonist, cop protagonist. But like, there's not enough to them.
No. They needed more of a dynamic as the two cops, or just make it one cop and cut the other cop out of it, because he didn't really need to be there.
Nope.
You know, he could have just been excised from the movie and it would be fine.
The whole scene where they're like threatening the hacker guy, I was kind of like, wait, why? Yeah. He helped them before.
Yeah, I don't know.
Why can't he help them now?
It doesn't really matter. I say make it one cop instead of the two cops, and also define her relationship more with Tiger Chen.
Yeah, it was like one
establish their dynamic. Yeah, because she's supposed to be the one who like she's the one who convinces him to, you know, end his like path into darkness and like turn around, kind of like. Oh, I want to make sure we briefly talk about the part where Tiger Chen is leaving the bank and he's all angrily leaving and he pushes the camera out of the way.
Oh man.
It was a very weird fourth wall break. Just the one.
Yeah.
It's not like a fourth wall breaking movie. It's not like Deadpool where Tiger Chen's like turning to the camera and like making quips. It's just one scene where he's walking angrily down a hallway. He reaches out and grabs the camera and pushes it out of the way. And I don't know how to feel about it. I really don't. I keep going back and forth between, it's so weird to do it one time and that's it. Yeah. And it's really immersion breaking. But
there's a piece of you is like, oh, what if that was an ad lib? Is what you're saying. Well, and I feel like that's really, really building in you. Is like, that's cool.
Well, but also, okay, I will say that. But the part of me that likes it is because it feels very, stick with me, it feels very French New Wave. In a way that, I'm sure I'm the only one who has ever called Man of Tai Chi like a French New Wave film. I'm sure that's never happened. But this moment where Tiger Chen is walking down the hallway and he grabs the camera and shoves it away as he's like walking past it, that feels like a total French New Wave thing where they were breaking all the rules because it had never been done before.
Right.
You know, it feels like that. It's just this isolated fourth wall break that's like different. I've never seen that particular thing where the character's angry, so he angrily reaches out to the camera, pushes it away. Like, it's a natural extension of his mood and his mindset as a character. So it's very distracting and it totally wrecks your immersion. Yeah. But when I'm looking at it as like an artistic statement, like an inner expression of the character, I think it's a really cool way to break the fourth wall.
I absolutely agree.
To have him be like, he's angrily walking away. The camera's in his way. It's like he's so angry he can't even wait for the audience to move out of his way. Like, there's something really cool about that.
I absolutely agree, but not in that movie, not in that scene.
I'm talking about it in that scene.
I'm telling you, that scene, very specifically in that shot, he's very angry. Yes, and it is very cool that he like takes that. He can't even take the camera, right? But to me, it is not that kind of movie. I'm not immersed enough in him.
Yeah. The universe of the movie, the style of the movie is not conducive to like a French New Wave fourth wall break.
Absolutely not. It's not about what are the emotions of Tiger Chen. What are the emotions of each character? It's not a character-driven emotional thing. You know, artistic in any way like that. I mean,
that's why I'm torn on it. If it was in a movie like that, like if this was in,
it's like if Bruce Willis was just like.
And I was wondering if it was an ad lib, like if Tiger Chen was just in the zone in his character, and he's like, "Oh, the camera team's not moving fast enough. Get out of my way."
Yeah.
Like maybe he's like a method actor,
Yeah.
which I don't know if there are any method acting martial artists, but there could be. Maybe he's the first one.
I will say the move on its own is very cool. I think it's cool.
But not in this overall package.
But I have to say, within this movie, I don't think it should be there.
So I think.
But I guess if looking at the Man of Tai Chi, the movie, like it perfectly fits in this movie, like this specific.
It is.
But
It's
the
a
story
very stylistic
does not
mishmash of stuff. It's definitely jumbled. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think the first half is beautiful. I thought the first half of the movie was great.
There's one other moment I want to talk about with the Master, and that's the Tai Chi like energy blast thing.
I hate that.
Yeah, I think it's too much. For me, that's jumping the shark, is doing that kind of thing. Him doing it in the final fight would be even worse if the Master had done it earlier on, if you know what I mean. Like, if it was all grounded fighting until the very last fight and then he suddenly energy blasted, that would be fucking crazy. It would be way too much. But the fact that the Master does it like halfway through the movie...
it's great that he sets it up.
If it happened in like the opening scene of the movie, the Master did that. Then you go, okay, that's the reality we're in. It's like an exaggerated reality where there are like, energy blasts, like that kind of thing happens, But it happens like too far into the movie.
And then you have to do a couple other things with the movie.
Exactly. You need to have more. You got to go like full bulletproof monk. Who the fuck has referenced bulletproof monk in the last decade? But yeah, you need other stuff like that if you're going to have the energy blast. That can't be the only thing.
Yeah.
But I guess in a movie where you have one fourth wall break, one crazy time lapse zooming through walls shot, one energy palm blast.
Yeah, they didn't even. I mean, they sold it right in that scene, and then like a shot after where he has like the mark on his chest. Yeah. But that's it. Like the whole movie.
Yeah.
You know?
This
it was
like mystical element is in like less than 1% of the total movie.
Yeah.
I'm torn on whether the movie is suggesting it's like a mystical thing, or if they're kind of playing into that idea that this kind of thing is real. Because there are these like sham martial artists who pretend that it's real.
He claims to be able to knock anyone out without touching any part of their body by just throwing a giant chi whammy at them.
That you really can like energy blast people across the room. I don't know if the movie is suggesting that that's legit, because it's not. It's a complete hoax bullshit kind of thing.
Yeah.
And if the movie is suggesting...
And it's not that kind of movie either.
Right. Well, but if the movie is suggesting, oh, those people are real, if the movie's like giving them credit, I don't like that, because those guys are like huckster Shylocks, they're like grifters doing that kind of thing.
Right.
I don't like if the movie is suggesting, yeah, they're real, seek out these masters, because there are people who like charge people money to teach them these energy blast techniques and stuff.
Yes,
and then they like brainwash them and lie to them, and it's like this crazy cult.
Right.
I don't like if that's the message of the movie, that, oh, that's real. Maybe the idea is it's supposed to just be mystical, like an actual like fantasy or supernatural element or something. If that's the case, then it needs to be integrated more throughout the movie. Yeah. So either way, it doesn't work. Overall, though, I like the movie a lot more than you do. I enjoy it a lot. The fighting does a lot for me. I think the fights are great. I like Tiger Chen a lot. I think he's a good protagonist.
I love Tiger Chen.
The character is very like stock, but I like his performance. And I think he's a likable protagonist. You root for him. You want to see him get through it.
Yeah, definitely.
The ending fight,
the 40-year-old,
could certainly be better, but I don't. It wasn't like disappointing to me like it was for you in the ending fight. I like Keanu Reeves in it. I think he's a good villain. I think he's a fun villain. He's like what I want in a kung fu villain.
He's kind of a fun villain.
He could be more distinctive, obviously, like on a writing level, but performance-wise, I didn't have any issue with his performance. Overall, I like Man of Tai Chi a lot. I think it's kind of like a little sleeper gem, I would say.
Wait, I have a couple more questions.
Okay.
That I really want to get by. What if Keanu made this movie clearly like it's not supposed to be realistic and it's all about the fights? Do you think that would have been better?
I think so. I think they could have gone one notch
instead of trying to make a story.
Yeah, I think they should have gone full heightened reality with this story, I think. Instead, they keep it mostly grounded with like an infusion of like little bits of heightened reality, like in the wire work and in the power push, whatever. In the Hadouken move. They go a little bit over the top with that stuff, but they keep the rest of it very grounded. Like, when the police come in, they're swarming with like police tactics. And like, they should have gone a little more over the top, I think, overall. It would feel more cohesive if everything was heightened instead of just like a few different sporadic things.
I think so
throughout.
too, and it would really add. It would make sense for there to be those stylistic choices too in that point.
The crazy transitions would feel less out of place if everything was like really played up.
Yeah, and you wouldn't have to go way too over the top either. Like they are pretty over the top at points.
Yeah, so I like Man of Tai Chi. I recommend it. I guess you don't.
Hey, don't go. Hey now.
Okay.
Hey now. I don't think Keanu Reeves should be a part of it. I think he should direct it. I think his direction of the movie was a bit much at times, but fun. The things I really liked were the fights. I really liked a lot of the fights. I'd love to see more of that. First half of the movie, I think is excellent. I think it's absolutely worth a watch. As a whole, I think the movie is worth a watch. I think the kung fu is just really cool. I think the fighting is really, really cool. And I think some of that fighting, those moves are must watch.
Subscribe to the channel for more martial arts reviews and just all kinds of other videos, video essays, and we got original short films on here and stuff. If you want to see an action movie that Greg and I made, you can check out The Briefcase. Greg's not in it, but he was a producer, the AD on it. I am in it. I'm the guy shooting.
No, I am in it. Remember you CGI'd me? I'm a little ant that walks across the lobby.
Yeah. You're in one of the blood splatters.
Like
You're a blood vessel. Yeah, flopping around. So check out The Briefcase. I haven't plugged that in a while, so I'll plug that. Check out The Briefcase. Check out our other Kung Fu reviews. Subscribe. Stick around. I'll see you in the next video.
Till the next time. Hawaii!